Hello and welcome to the OET course by Fast Track IELTS. My name is Jordan and I'm one of the OET teachers. So first of all, thank you very much for joining our course. We very much look forward to getting started with your preparation, and most importantly, we look forward to getting ready to pass that OET exam for your NMC, GMC or GPHC registration. And hopefully we can make the process interesting for you and as stress-free as possible too. So in this video, it's going to be a bit of an introduction to the course. I'm going to explain how the course works, how to use the online study area, how to get started, and how to kind of get the most out of your studies. So let's not waste any more time and let's get right to it. So we're going to begin by just having a bit of a look, first of all, at how the course is structured. And then a little bit later in this video, we're going to have a look at the online study area. And that's where kind of everything comes together and where you'll get all your materials and book all of your lessons as well. So when it comes to the course and when you first started, I like to think of the course as having 6 steps that we repeat again and again. And we can see this bit of a circle here, which kind of represents this. So throughout the course, what we'll be doing is kind of working our way around this circle. We can see some information here. So the first step is we'll be booking lessons, then we'll be attending our lessons. After the lessons, there'll be some videos to watch. There'll be then some self-study materials to do, a couple of skill quizzes, some homework, and then we book our next lesson. And a little bit later on, we'll look at all of these steps in a bit of detail. This is just a bit of an introduction to get us started. So when it comes to booking lessons, this is done in the online study area. And I'll give a bit of an example later on of how to go about booking those lessons. We then attend our lessons, and this is done on Skype. You'll meet your teacher for your lesson, a one-on-one class, and it'll be arranged through Skype. After your lessons, you'll then have some videos to watch. And these videos are created by our teachers to kind of review all of the skills, all of the techniques that you've just studied in each of your lessons. The self-study materials I mentioned here will be some online activities for you to complete and download, and these will just be more activities to build on the skills that you've learned recently in your lessons. There'll also be skill quizzes. These are often grammar quizzes, which we'll see today, that are again going to build your skills in some of the grammatical areas that are required for this OET exam. And then very finally, there's the homework. And throughout the course, you'll be asked to complete lots of homework assignments, and these are reviewed by your teacher with detailed feedback on any mistakes and any corrections that need to happen in order to achieve that passing score. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start off by logging into the OET student area, having a bit of a look around, and hopefully we can kind of figure out how it all comes together. So let's go and move over to the online study area and we'll take a look. Great, so when you first log in, this will be the page that you see. A nice simple login page. I've already filled in my details here, so we're just going to press the login button and we can get started from there. Perfect. So from here then, you'll come to this menu page here. And basically all you'll need to do is to select the course. And we know already, we're on the OET course. Whether you're a nurse, a doctor, a pharmacist, a dentist, everybody accesses the same course here. And we just go on to OET course. There is also another option, and you can select it from up here, but this would be the easiest one. So the first thing, as we say, we'll choose OET course. Brilliant. And then this will bring us to our main course page. This is the one that we're looking for. This really is where all our materials are going to be. This is where everything is. And we can see here, there's quite a few links to get started with. Then as you get more familiar with the course, you'll kind of get to work your way all around these. We're not going to look at everything today, but we are going to look at the most important information. So the first thing you'll notice here is we've got OET complete course, and we've got this OET pre-course here. And this is basically the first thing that you should do when you log in. And this is essentially a short course that will kind of just introduce you to the exam. There'll be some videos like the one I'm speaking on here, which explain how the course works, and there'll be a couple of guides for you to work through. As we can see, this pre-course will take about 30 to 45 minutes to complete, and there are 6 sections to work through. So there is first how the course works, which is what we're going to be looking at today. There is what is OET, which will explain what the OET exam is as a bit of an introduction, a bit of course information, and then some instructions to book your first lesson, confirm your Skype name, and to introduce yourself. And what I would recommend is when you first start the course, you should work your way through all of these 6 pages here. So we've got this first one, how the course works, a video on here explaining all of the features. We go through. There's then a bit of information about what the OET exam is. I recommend watching the video, having a quick read through this. And then there's some more information about the course as well. And again, I'm not going to go through all of this in detail. This video is more about introducing and how to kind of find everything that you need. A little bit later on, however, more importantly, there's going to be this section which says book your first lesson. And we're going to have a bit of a look at that a little bit later on in this video. If it is your first lesson, we recommend booking a lesson with any teacher that has suitable times for you. After you've booked your first lesson, you'll need to confirm your Skype name, and your Skype name will be how your teacher will connect with you for your lessons. And then very finally, right at the end of this pre-course, will be a section called Introduce Yourself. And this will essentially just be a short questionnaire here for you to introduce yourself to your teacher and for them to get a good idea of any concerns you have about studying or any kind of requirements you might have, and for them to kind of make any arrangements based on those. Brilliant. So if you ever do need any advice or you're not kind of sure about how to use this study area, then you can always come back and watch this video again, or you can also contact our team and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. Brilliant. So what I would recommend is at the end of this video, work your way through this pre-course here that we've just seen. Work your way through all of those pages right until the end, until this Introduce Yourself page. And from there, you should then have a very good idea of how the course works. So the next step then will be booking that first lesson. And if we go back to our main course page here, we'll see we've got some options. Let's have a quick look at these then. So we've got booking calendar, and this is where we arrange a lesson with our teacher. We've got practice tests, and this is where we access our practice materials. We've got course videos, and they were the videos I mentioned a little bit earlier, which explain the techniques of the test. We've got our homework, we've got our exam corrections, our self-study, our skill quizzes, our resources, and our support if you need any help. So let's have a look at the first of these then, and this is going to be the booking calendar. And this is where you'll go to book each of your lessons with your teacher. As this is going to be your first lesson coming up, you'll want to come in and select a time with any teacher that has a convenient time for you. So let's say, for example, I've signed up today and I'm interested in having my first lesson, let's say on the 21st. Let's have a quick look here. And let's say I'm only available at 10 o'clock in the morning. Well, I'll have a look on here. I've got a lesson time available here with Helen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select Helen's name, and then I'm going to fill in this first name form. So I've got my first name, Jordan Watton. I've got my email address on here, and then I've got our lesson time as well. And let's say I'm on the OET course. I'm then going to press the Book Now button, and then it'll ask for me to confirm my details, and then from there I will receive an email which will confirm the lesson. For today, I'm not going to book a lesson, as Helen might be a little bit confused why she's receiving a booking from me, but these will be the steps that you'll need to take. Nice and simple. Go onto the booking calendar, find a time that is suitable for you, and just book that first lesson in with your teacher. From here, you will then receive an email to confirm the time, and there'll also be some instructions of how to attend the lesson as well. 24 hours before the lesson, you'll also receive another email, this time to confirm the time and as a bit of a reminder as well. Great, so let's come back and let's have a look at this OET study area again and some of the other options on here. So by now, perhaps we've worked our way through the pre-course, we know how the course works, we've booked our first lesson, and what I would recommend doing now is just taking a bit of time to have a look around and how everything works. And in your first lesson with your teacher will go over all of this again. They'll answer any questions you might have about how the course works, and they'll guide you on all of the next steps as well. But let's have a little bit of a look around here then. So for example, we've got one of the options here, which is practice tests, which is where we can come in and get all of our materials. So our nursing, our medicine, our pharmacy, all of our practice tests for each of the modules of the test. We've got some listening materials in there as well, and these can be completed at any time. Your teacher will kind of guide you on what they recommend you focus your time and energy on, but of course if you want to do additional practice, those materials are always there for you to access and to do some practice tests as well. We also then have the course videos, and these are videos that will essentially review all of the techniques that you did in your previous lesson. What I would recommend doing is just watching these after each of the lessons that you have. So if, for example, we've just done lesson 1, come into this section and watch the lesson 1 video. And again, that will study all of the techniques you've looked at. Then a little bit later, when you've done lesson 2, go in and watch the lesson 2 video and kind of do that throughout the course to kind of take you back through everything that you've done. So next coming up is going to be the homework. And again, your teacher will go over this in a lot of detail with you at the end of each of your lessons. After each of the lessons will be some homework assignments for you to complete, and depending on what you're working on, the homework's going to be a little bit different. If, for example, you're working on the writing part, your homework's going to involve writing an OET letter and sending it in to your teacher. But again, your teacher will go over this with you in a lot of detail during your first class and throughout the course as well. So some of the other options that we have on here then are the exam corrections. Now, some people get a little bit confused about the difference between these. So homework is assignments that are set after each of your lessons. After lesson 1, you do the lesson 1 homework. After lesson 2, you do the lesson 2 homework. Exam corrections are extra corrections for the writing and speaking exam that you can just send in at any time. And what I would recommend doing is waiting until a little bit later in the course before you start sending those extra ones in. For the beginning of the course, I'd recommend just doing the homework that's set by you so you kind of know what to expect. You've been taught the techniques of the exam and now you're just practicing them. So for the first kind of week or 2, just kind of focus on finishing that homework, and a little bit later, once you've kind of got into the swing of things and you know what to expect, those exam corrections are extra practice tests that you can send in for reviews by your teacher, and they'll kind of go over the techniques with you in a little bit more detail. So then self-study and skill quizzes are basically extra activities that you can do and download, and these will just continue your development and your understanding of the techniques of the exam. And then very finally, we've got resources, which will basically just be helpful guides that will explain how the course works, how to get the most out of your learning, any kind of technical questions you might have, resetting your password, that type of thing. And then very finally, we've got the support section. And if you ever need any support from our teachers, whether that is paying your course fees or any problems that you're having using the student area, just complete the form on this page and we'll get back to you right away to answer any questions that you might have. Now that we've kind of had a quick look at the student area, what should we do now? So the first thing that I would recommend doing is, after this video, continue to work your way through the rest of the OET pre-course. A little bit later on, step 2 here, it's going to ask you to book your first lesson. So get that first lesson booked, get it started, and then we've kind of got a goal to begin your studies. After that, be sure to confirm your Skype name, so we've got all of your details, and then attend your first lesson with the instructions that we've set. And then very finally, after that lesson, complete your homework and send those in so we can see how you're doing and kind of continue that preparation. Fantastic. So if you have any questions at all, or if there's anything that's not quite clear and what you need to do next, then definitely contact us using that support section that we looked at a little bit earlier. Brilliant. Fantastic. So we very much look forward to getting started with you and starting that journey to passing the OET exam for your NMC, GMC or GPHC registration. So let's get it started. Thank you very much.